property details and send it to the thousands of local investors in their database who are actively looking to buy properties. The average homeowner receives 12 offers on their property. It's quick and easy. Plus, you can close in as little as 10 days, or they have the flexibility to close in months. They can even give you a $20,000 cash advance, which will help with moving costs when you sell with Sunday. Go to Sunday.com, SUNDAE.com, or phone them, 800-25-OFFER. Get a free, no-obligation cash offer at Sunday.com, SUNDAE.com. Sunday is a California licensed real estate broker. DRE license number 020-88298.
Win your way to our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival, September 17th and 18th.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Coming live to iHeartRadio stations across America and streaming free on the CW app and CWTV.com. You'll see Billie Eilish, Cheap Trick, Coldplay, Dua Lipa, Vanningus, Florida Georgia Line, J. Cole, Dirty, Khalid, Little Baby, Maroon 5, Nelly, Sam Hunt, Weezer, and more. Visit every weekday to win your way there.
There you go. Mimosas are finally on the menu at IHOP.
Oh, yeah.
Are you a mimosa girl?
The bottom of the mimosa right? That's pretty great.
Oh,
The bottom part's tea, right? Bottom
Yeah.
is the tea.
It's usually with crap champagne at that point, but what does it matter? The Fork Report with Neil Sevega.
Tomorrow afternoon at 2
On KFI AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
Central Belkin, Shampoo, KFI, AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Hey, stay with us in the 5 o'clock hour and not only roll out the voice line, people, but we think it's your last shot for now at those tickets to the iHeartRadio Music Festival, and $1,000 is a keyword that comes up around 5:20. Fox News spoke to a Taliban spokesperson, Suhail Shaheen, who admonished, saying that you should not be trying to change our culture. We're not trying to change your culture. He said there'll be no issue, though, about the women's rights. They will get the education, but they have to wear the hijab. They can receive education with hijab, and they can work with hijab. So they have to continue to wear the traditional dress.
Well, we went in there, part of our $2 trillion is we were trying to do gender re-education. We were trying to teach the Afghans all
Right, to come out of hundreds of years ago.
all the modern woke attitudes about how you handle all the different genders that have suddenly popped up, and they don't want to hear about it. They're not interested at all. And there's really nothing you can do because we spent $2 trillion. We spent hundreds of billions of dollars on weapons, and it didn't change a thing. So it looks like, as horrible as it is over there, there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing anyone's going to do about it ever. And we're just going to have to live with that.
Right, but, eventually, again, whether it's 2 years from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, we're going to hear horrible stories, and people are going to say, we got to do something, we got to go back in there and get rid of that Taliban.
Well, the only
and then
thing...
someone will say they have weapons of mass destruction. Go kill them.
The only thing we ought to worry about is terrorists. They're coming here and blowing things up. And, if we seal the border and we have strict immigration policies, then the odds of that happening are much, much less.
And we will do neither of those things with this crowd in charge.
So, yeah, that's what the fight ought to be about, is sealing the southern border, because who knows what's coming over the border these days, right? And then, you just simply can't come here. You get on a plane, if we're not happy with who you are, you're being sent back home. And you just have to have a strict process for that. Because
Now,
we didn't. We did, 20 years ago when the 9/11 happened, it was too loose.
No, yeah, they didn't follow up tips, and that was just horribly investigated leading up to that.
Yeah,
event.
I mean, if we're going to have government boobs who are bad at their job, then this stuff's going to happen, and you can't stop it. And that's what we have. We have government boobs who are bad at their job. Just look at this administration, what they're doing at the border, and what they did in Afghanistan. Do you think they're actually capable of keeping terrorists out? I don't. I figure a couple of years we're probably in for it again.
Now, who remembers January 6th? The U.S. Capitol invasion by the QAnon
insurrection.
people. the insurrection.
It's a great one.
News today is that one of the most infamous people from that day, remember the guy who wore the horns and had the face paint?
And the fur around his neck.
And the fur. Jacob Chantley is his name. They call him the QAnon shaman. I think that's what he called himself. He pled guilty, officially, to obstructing an official proceeding. Again, it's 6 charges involving felony counts of civil disorder, obstruction of an official proceeding, but he pled guilty to obstructing an official proceeding. I understand he could get 3 years
Right.
for a
So
sentence.
they dropped, the plea agreement was they dropped 5 out of the 6 charges.
They did, right?
And his prison term went from 28 years down to about 3. Because he already served 8 months.
And he admitted he was guilty of this offense. He did become one of the most identifiable defendants in the Capitol because of the outfit he wore that day.
Just how many guys had horns?
And
he
he's
went
the one
right
that
up-
got, yeah, I see the picture of him at Pelosi's desk.
Right. He led a prayer. Yeah. Because I saw some video where everybody joined hands. And he started praying to God.
He was shirtless, too, it looks like.
He was shirtless and he's bald. So he took off his horned helmet there, and he had no hair. It was kind of startling. Because he had so much fur around, and he had you figure when he took the helmet off, he'd have a big, thick shock of manly hair. And
I guess these guys seem so defiant after this, and
well,
they finally caught up with a
the
number
attorney
of
says he's mentally ill. Ooh, there's a surprise. And that, they had a long talk with the prosecution about mental illness, and I guess they convinced the prosecution to scale back the charges and the sentencing.
They're still arresting these guys. They said they would not quit. I mean, we're 7 months later, 8 months almost now, and they're still finding these guys around the country. It just takes a lot to track them down.
Well, these dopes recorded themselves.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. But because they wore outfits and sometimes it's hard to see their
That's
faces.
right. If you want to get
It
away
takes
with a
some
crime,
detective work.
here's a good primer. If you want to get away with a crime like busting into the Capitol building, do not wear horns. Don't wear fur and face paint. Don't record yourself on video or have your buddies record you.
All right, we got more coming out.
John and Ken, Deborah Marquez News, KFI Am 640.
Happy Labor Day. Wait, did you even labor this year? Didn't you quit your job? That's it. No weekend for you. Put that back.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. The City Action.
Camping crackdown. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A law banning homeless from camping in many parts of L.A. is now in effect.
The city action on this issue is long overdue.
Councilman John Lee says the status quo of allowing people to live on the street is unacceptable because it's dangerous for everyone. The new law means homeless can no longer camp on many sidewalk areas, including your schools, parks, and daycare centers. Lee says the goal right now is outreach and to get people into housing. LA City Councilman Joe Buscaino has pitched another plan to keep homeless camps off city streets. His measure would prohibit people from sleeping or camping on sidewalks and other public spaces if they have turned down offers of shelter or emergency housing. He says he plans to put the measure on the June 2022 ballot. A man charged with killing 3 people and a 9-year-old boy during a shooting in Orange could be declared mentally incompetent to stand trial.
2 court-appointed experts have determined Gagiola Gonzalez is not mentally competent, but the court has yet to make that ruling. Gonzalez faces 4 murder charges and 3 attempted murder charges tied to the shooting in March. Gonzalez was shot in the head during the ensuing confrontation with police and had to have a piece of his brain removed. Defense lawyers say Gonzalez is unable to communicate or participate in his defense. The judge set a new hearing for early October to give prosecutors time to have a neurosurgeon make a third determination about the guy's ability to stand trial. At the OC Superior Court, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
Major League Baseball has added another week to the administrative leave of Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer. He last pitched June 28th. The LA County DA's office is deciding whether to file sexual assault charges against him. His accuser filed for a restraining order, but a judge denied it. Many school districts in California are facing a teaching shortage. From substitutes to full-time teachers, the number of credentialed instructors for the state's K-12 schools is not meeting the staffing needs. The Commission on Teacher Credentialing says about 14,000 new teachers got their credentials in 2020. The state needs to increase levels to 20,000 a year to properly staff schools. The mayor of New York City has promised to overhaul the city's response system to better prepare for future weather emergencies such as Tropical Storm Ida.
We had a 1 hour period Wednesday night that set the all-time record for a single hour in the history, the recorded history of New York City. And no one projected that coming.
Mayor Bill de Blasio today announced the creation of a special extreme weather response task force. It will look into things like a possible use of travel bans, enhanced weather alerts, and a door-to-door evacuation plan for vulnerable basement apartments. It's slow on the 405 in Culver City.
This is northbound. We're looking at delays that are filling in, getting away from just about Washington Boulevard. And delays continue all the way to the 5 merge in San Fernando. It's just really tough this afternoon. Let's check in with Will Kohlschreiber, KFI in the Sky, sponsored by injury attorney, superwomansuperlawyer.com. Let's head out to Commerce.
Yeah, another stretch of the 5 in trouble here. Northbound side of the 5, just past Atlantic. We've got a crash in the far left lane. Looks like it involves a couple of motorcycles. CHP blocking that left lane, and as a result, northbound 5 is at a standstill all the way out of Santa Fe Springs. Again, that's all the way up into Commerce. Southbound side, we just had a little something happen here. Southbound side of the 5. This is going to be just south of the 710. Looks like the fire department are working on something on the right shoulder there, adding the delays out of the East LA interchange. In fact, that southbound 5 pretty ugly as you get out of Burbank there, all the way up. Yeah, it looks like the slowing starts above Burbank, headed southbound. So it's a tough one there, both directions of the 5. Injured in an accident, visit superwomansuperlawyer.com. Will Kohlschreiber, KFI in the Sky.
KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Angel Martinez.
This hour of KFI is brought to you by Sunlux, your best value in solar for all your energy needs. Sunlux.com.
Heating up for the long holiday weekend. We'll talk about that next.
If you've been hurt in an accident, you got to hire the right attorney. Matters. Sweet Jane's accident attorneys have helped thousands of our listeners, and they've settled for millions of dollars each month.
Hey, accident victims are not just numbers. Their stories are quite real, like this one. Before her accident, the Sweet Jane's client enjoyed spending time with her family, living that normal life, and then one day everything changed forever. She was terribly injured in a collision.
The insurance company wouldn't even cover her surgery or the medical bill. Boom! It's outrageous. But his daughter hired Sweet Jane.
Yeah, big, smart move. Her team of attorneys fought hard to make sure she was able to receive all the care she needs, and Sweet James was able to settle her case for $5.7 million.
If you or someone you love is ever hurt in an accident, don't gamble. You call Sweet James. Every case is different. They can't guarantee the outcome, but it's important to get an experienced law firm on your side.
Call for a free consultation at 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 and sweetjames.com.
1-877 cars for kids.
Damage your car today with 1-877 Cars for Kids. We're a recognized 501c3 charity organization, so you'll receive a maximum tax deduction. What's more, you'll receive a vacation voucher of 3 days and 2 nights. Also on the web at carsforkids.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The KFI Financial Report brought to you by Bay Alarm. The Dow closed down 75, S&P 500 down 2, NASDAQ up 32, and the average price of a gallon of regular gas in California is $4.39.
Bay Alarm will keep your commercial fire system in compliance so you're up to code, not up all night.
Southland weather from KFI. It's going to be a hot weekend. Mid-70s to low 80s temperatures. 90 to 100 for Metro LA tomorrow. Low 90s to around 103 in the valleys. 90 to 95 for Inland OC, mid-90s to around 101 in the IE, and pretty much the same thing for Sunday and Monday. Right now, 82 in Orange, it's 70 in Huntington Beach, 92 in Northridge, and 87 in Sun Valley. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Deborah Mark.
Johnny Kent Show. John Cobell, Ken Shampoo. It's KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app.
You got it. Thanks for tuning in. Next hour, too, bring us a voice line and, of course, a chance with that keyword to text and a trip to the iHeart Radio Music Festival in lovely Las Vegas. And $1,000. It might be the last time we're doing it for a while. We'll see. But that comes up at around 5:20 here on KFI. Well, for the world of COVID, there are places that are nuttier than California. in particular Los Angeles County, maybe this idea will be copied. We go to Australia. Now, Australia and New Zealand, because they are kind of geographically isolated, and they have the governments that they do, have decided to be really controlling when it comes to trying to keep COVID-19 away from their country. And in an area of Australia called South Australia, the country has 6 states, that's how it's divided. And one of them is South Australia. They've come up with a new policy. If you have to go into quarantine, you have a choice. You can go into a government hotel room where there'll be security, and they'll make sure you stay isolated. Or you can choose door number 2, which is our new facial recognition software app. That's right. What happens if you choose that alternative is that it has geolocation and facial recognition software. So what they're going to do is randomly pick people to check on. And you'll have to show up so they know it's your face, and then within your location, they'll know whether or not you've been quarantining at home or you've slipped out somewhere.
They'll text you at random times, and you will have 15 minutes to take a picture of your face. In the location.
If the resident cannot verify his or her location or identity when requested, the South Australia Health Department will notify the police. They will then do an in-person check on the person in quarantine.
Because you have this geolocation app, they know exactly where you are. And so when they text you, and you send back your face, it better be coming from that location. Don't pull anything funny.
Well, it's kind of saying, since we have a quarantine policy, if you'd rather not be in a government hotel room being watched over by guards, you want to do this at home, then you have to agree to this.
I've always thought of Australia as being a free state, very much like America used to be. You see what this is doing? A relatively mild threat in the grand scheme of things for most people has given all these governments an excuse now to do things the communists in Stalin's Russia would be ashamed of. What do you mean I have to send you a picture of my face in 15 minutes, or you're going to send the police over? I mean, just say some of this stuff out loud. Imagine you're in a country that, 2 years ago was completely free, and now, if they ping you on your phone, you got 15 minutes. I want to see your face now. Well, looks like Mr. Policeman's going to be knocking on your door. We wouldn't want something bad to happen to you now. This all is lurking inside all these government officials and these leaders. They all would... even Trump used to say that he envied the dictators around the world because they could just get things done. And I think everybody who gets into politics after a while, because they're constantly frustrated, it's difficult to pass laws and influence people and change things. It's like, boy, if only I could force people, send some goon over with a gun. I'd get my way. And COVID gave them the excuse to do it.
A scholar in Australia explained, well, hotel quarantine you have to pay for yourself. Australians have to pay for the hotel quarantine. So this is a less expensive way if you'd rather just quarantine at home.
That's a false choice. You don't force people to quarantine. You don't charge them. Hey, look, if you promise to send us a picture of your face every 15 minutes, we'll stop feeding you over the head. How about that? Oh, man, those are the choices?
Well, they have about 2 million people in South Australia. They've reported 0 new cases of COVID since August 23rd and no deaths since April 12th. Oh, they get very proud of these stats.
99% of people who get COVID don't...
They're saving lives. What are you doing?
Look, breaking news, people are going to get sick and they're going to die. And there is no point to destroying everybody's freedom to save lives. Freedom is just as important. I don't want to give my freedoms to save everybody's life. Especially when you know how to save your life. You go get the vaccine, and you follow all the other protocols that they've been preaching at us for the last 2 years. You follow all that, you're not going to get sick and die. Oh, maybe lose a few pounds, too, while you're at it. I mean, there are plenty of ways to avoid dying from COVID. In fact, there's one huge way now is you get the shot. So if people are willingly giving up their freedoms in all these countries, then it shows you the power of terrifying people. You scare people with overheated rhetoric and fear-mongering, and then you get them to do anything. Go ahead, take a picture of your face and send it to me now. Now, I said.
Australia apparently has 80% of adults vaccinated. And the Prime Minister said they are going to end their COVID-0 policy. He says that the harsh lockdown approach is just not sustainable.
Yeah. Flatten the curve became zero COVID. They just gradually morphed into that. That's what we have in LA County. All this mask BS, all the restrictions of kids on school, it's all because it became zero COVID. Because otherwise, these guys would lose all their power and influence, and they don't want that to happen. There's such a strong psychological component of wanting power over people. And I guess everyone's forgotten history, or maybe they don't teach history anymore. But I don't know how you cannot look at what happened in Russia and Nazi Germany and Communist China and all these North Korea now, all these terrible places over the years. Since the beginning of time, since ancient times, there's always been rulers, and what have they done? They've enslaved people, they've tortured people, they've killed people, and they coerced and forced people to live the way they wanted. It is basic human nature. Those who have the ability to get into power, one way or another, try to do that. I don't care what country, what political party, what ideology, that's what they want to do. They want to ultimately control. Including our two parties. They just have two different lists of things they want to control.
Now, a couple of top health officials have told the White House, what would this guy's position be, like the White House pandemic coordinator, that maybe we're going too fast with the booster shots here. This is the good old CDC head, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, and somebody named Janet Woodcock, the acting commissioner of the FDA. They say maybe you only don't need boosters for people who got the Pfizer vaccine, and maybe just some of them. We shouldn't be rushing into giving everybody the booster shot because they don't think the data's there yet to say that we have to give everybody a third shot.
Two FDA officials resigned. Because they thought, yeah, they did, in protest of Biden announcing that the boosters are coming very soon. He said they thought Biden jumped the gun on this. They haven't looked at the data yet. There's absolutely no scientific reason to be announcing this, at least not yet. And so they quit.
They've been using this Israeli data, which shows that the potency of the Pfizer vaccine wanes over time. And as you know, Israel was one of the first countries to really get a full-scale vaccination program underway, and they did Pfizer mostly.
Yeah. Well, so, and then they had a surge. And then
they had a lot of breakthrough cases.
Yeah. So then they decided on the third shot. And the thing is, it's like, how is the average person supposed to make heads or tails of all this? You got President Dementia announcing a booster shot, and we're ready to go. September 20th, I think, is the day that he...
Oh, is that the day?
That was the day, yeah. Starting with people 60 and older. And now all of a sudden you got two FDA officials resigning, and then you have this story today saying, well, we haven't really looked at the data yet. Well, what do you mean you haven't looked at the data? Does the data exist? So why is the president pushing the booster when nobody's seen the data yet?
I've heard others say there's just not enough data to warrant this.
What does that mean, though?
It means that we're not looking at enough people in enough situations who have gotten these vaccines to know whether or not it's reliable. It's just not enough of a sample, would be another way to put it.
But is this something you want to get ahead of?
Because no, they do this stuff, they test, and then it has to be retested, and it has to be peer-reviewed. But by the time they get the data, everybody's vaccine may have worn off, and we got another big surge going on. So you're anxious to get the third shot?
Well, if it's wearing off, I can accept that. I didn't expect perfection. But I don't want to wait while these blob heads, they're all going to dither around for 3 months. And in the meantime, I get a bad case. I mean, I don't trust them. It just seems to me like more antibodies in my system is better than less. And so we've gotten so much conflicting information out of these boobs that I don't want to wait for them to dither around till Christmas. All right, we got more coming up. Johnny 10, KFI, Deborah Marquez.
Multiple intersections in Irvine will soon be able to connect to smart cars to help improve traffic flow and safety. President Biden has gone to Louisiana to look at some of the damage caused by what was Hurricane Ida. Hurricane Larry has become a Category 2 storm. It's swirling in the central Atlantic Ocean. Larry is forecast to become a major hurricane this weekend. We'll go to the 210, and we will check in with the KFI in the sky next.
Dr. Charles Banger at Saddleback Eye Center wants to give you the all-new laser light LASIK exam for free. Free. A laser light LASIK exam uses the laser, measures your eyes over 1,000 times, and perfectly maps your vision. And I'll give you a laser light LASIK exam if you're one of the first 14 KFI callers only. Dr. Charles Banger, I went to him. He's the best in the business. He did my eyes years ago, and I'm still seeing 20/20. Measuring your eyes over 1,000 times is especially important. If you're nearsighted, farsighted, you have astigmatism, or you just need reading glasses. You'll walk out of there with crystal clear vision. In most cases, you'll see 20/20 or better. I'm giving you a free laser light LASIK exam if you're one of the first 14 KFI callers now. You call 866-559-4444. 866-559-4444. 866-559-4444.
LAFC is hosting Sporting Kansas City tonight as they look to climb back into the playoff race, while the Galaxy enjoy the weekend off before visiting the Colorado Rapids this Saturday. USC opens up their season tomorrow afternoon when they host San Jose State at the Coliseum. San Jose State beat Southern Utah last week. And a source confirms that Jets wide receiver Jamison Crowder tested positive for COVID-19, jeopardizing his status for their season opener against the Panthers. I'm Katie Haffron.
Staples Connect has amazing prices for your back-to-school list. Staples one-subject notebooks are only 25 cents each, and Crayola 24-count crayons, 2-pocket poly folders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. Offer ends 9/18. Notebooks in-store only. Limit 30. Prices may vary online.
It's slow on the 210 in Doherty.
This is on the westbound side. We're seeing delays backing up from just about the 605 freeway, taking you ahead to the 134. I'm hearing about a wreck near Sierra Madre, but very low on details. So to see it, pound 250, keyword KFI traffic. Probably just a fender bender in that very slow line of traffic. Let's head out to Commerce. We've got Will Kohlschreiber, KFI in the Sky, sponsored by injury attorney, Superwoman, Superlawyer.com.
Boy, this one is a long, slow process. Northbound side of the 5. Past Atlantic, we have the left lane still blocked by this crash involving a couple of motorcycles. And because motorcycles are involved, they've been waiting for a flatbed tow truck to show up. They finally did, so they're at least loading one of the motorcycles on it. Not sure if they're going to have to tow away the other one as well. At any rate, the northbound 5 jammed up solid all the way out of San Mateo Springs from before the 605 on that northbound side. Southbound side of the 5, very slow out of East LA. Basically, slow out of Burbank through East LA to this point, all the way down to the 605. Injured in an accident, visit SuperwomanSuperlawyer.com. Will Kohlschreiber, KFI in the Sky.
In Brea, the 57 southbound slowing down from Lambert, it stretches to the 5. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Angel Martinez.
This report is sponsored by iAccidentLawyer.com. Tired of the BS? We spent $500,000 on this. Results $8 million for leg-injured motorcyclists.
We want your trade-in at the Ford Labor Day Sell-a-thon. Get $3,000 trade assist cash on top of the value of your trade-in on a Ford Ranger or EcoSport. Or get $2,000 trade assist cash on the versatile Ford Explorer. This is your chance to trade up to Ford. So don't wait. This Labor Day Sell-a-thon ends soon.
You must trade in 1995 or newer vehicle to qualify for Ford Trade Assist cash. Dealer determines trade-in value. Amount varies. Offers valid through 9/6/21. See dealer for details.
I want to break free! Break free in 2022 with Norwegian's Labor Day sale. Book your cruise today and enjoy 30% off, free open bar, and much more. With our leading health and safety program, you can cruise with the ultimate freedom on 100% fully vaccinated ships that are fully open to explore. Visit NCL.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe, feel free. Just registered at Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Have you been wanting to spruce up your home but but are being told you'll have to wait weeks or even months for your furniture to come in? Don't wait. At Court Furniture Outlet, everything you see is in stock and ready for immediate delivery. And now, during Court Furniture Outlet's annual Labor Day sale, you'll save on everything you need to brighten up your home or make your workplace more comfortable. New upholstery in several styles and colors, including sleeper sectionals with storage, only $5.99. A huge selection of office furniture, including MacPack office chairs, from only $59. Plus great deals on bedroom sets, mattresses, dining, and so much more. Come into one of Southern California's best-kept secrets, where home stagers, designers, and savvy business professionals have been shopping for over 40 years. Visit Court Furniture Outlet in Glendale on Central, in Corona at the 91 and McKinley, and now Fountain Valley at Euclid and the 405. Or go to CourtFurnitureOutlet.com. That's C-O-R-T FurnitureOutlet.com.
This week at Grocery Outlet, grill a healthy alternative with Beyond Meat, Beyond Burger plant-based patties. 16-ounce 4-packs are just $6.99. Also, Frito-Lay party-sized chips are buy two, get one free.
If you want out of your house, moving, downsizing, you have financial issues, maybe you've inherited, so you list it with a broker, and that means hours of cleaning and painting and repairing and paying big fees. So let me give you another way of doing it. You get a fair price without any of that. Buyer never walks through your house, there's never an appraisal, no commissions, and you can get paid in cash within 10 days or less if you need it. That's directbuyers.com. That's the company that Janet and Matt, brother and sister, own, and I love the way they do business. They'll never lowball you. They're just honest folks. And let me tell you, a lot of schmucks in this industry, and that's not what they are. They'll give you an honest, no-obligation offer and even offer a $15,000 cash advance before closing. Go to directbuyers.com. That's directbuyers.com. Call 844-242-SELL. 844-242-SELL. directbuyers.com.
Chris Willow, the news director, the guy who's in charge of the newsroom here at KFI AM 640. How long have you known KFI?
Oh, since 1991.
Tim, tell him his zipper's down.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show, weeknights at 6.
I wish I had headphones so I could hear everybody. Oh, this is so much better. Let me get some toes and go back to your question.
On KFI.
John and Ken Show, John Cook, and Ken Coach, KFI, AM 640, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
Well, I'm glad this story was done. NBC4 did a story that they posted yesterday about Venice Beach and the Venice Beach boardwalk. Now, we spent a lot of time on that with the homeless problem there, the encampment. And by the way, if you didn't hear it, the most horrendous story of the day when it comes to the vagrant topic is a man who was out with his family in Malibu last Sunday, got into a fight with two homeless men, and lost an eye. You can imagine that. One of the vagrants had a machete.
And he started slashing the guy's face.
And it was hopefully his eye didn't just pop out, I hope.
I ripped it open with machete.
Oh, or don't touch damage that they had to.
Yeah. So, it's supposed to be a nice day at the beach with your family, and then the homeless guy comes flying out, saying this is his beach, and he's got a machete. And this is what goes on. And nobody does anything about it. They had a big town hall meeting in Malibu last night, with Sheriff Ian away. And he and Bush Diana are the only two politicians in the whole county who are trying to stop guys from slashing the face of fathers in front of their kids.
So Venice had been the poster child for the disgusting homeless problem, and that led Sheriff Ian Away to go in there and promise a cleanup, which led the good old Mike Bonner, the city council member, to do his own thing. And the update is mixed. The story starts out by saying the homeless encampment tents, piles of personal property, and garbage are gone. However, some residents are saying, well, there's still some people here. They're not pitching tents, but they're still rolling out sleeping bags on the boardwalk there. Maybe not as many as before. Because the LAPD does have a special beach detail patrol that monitors Venice Beach. They say that enforcement happens every day, every morning. They give an update on tents on the boardwalk that they say varies from 4 to 10 daily. And then teams work with those living in the tents to remove them and move on throughout the day. I like this part. He says, though, that this is a Deputy Chief, Blake Charles. He says that by city ordinance, a tent is any structure that has more than two sides. And community groups have a very different definition of what they're seeing, which is often no tent but rather umbrellas and personal effects. In other words, they're saying, those are just people enjoying the beach for the day. Don't think that's an encampment of any kind or any homeless person. I know.
Sure, that's BS. You know, they can have their silly little third grader arguments all they want. You just get them off. Go jump in the ocean. Their arguments are stupid.
So, and of course, now we know where the homeless stories go. They're worried about what's going to happen when the temporary housing ends. And this brings us back to what we heard when we talked about this problem a couple months ago. These groups now are not happy with just shelter. They want permanent apartment-style or hotel-style housing.
Not going to happen. Never going to happen.
That, they believe, is the end game here.
That's too scary stuff. Well, they can ask all they want. It's never going to happen. Don't have the money. The city's corrupt anyway. They're never going to build anything substantial. And it's not practical. And it's really just unfair and immoral. You're giving away tax money to people who stumbled in with their drug addictions and now they're demanding their own home. No, just on fairness and decency grounds for people who work for a living. No, we have no obligation to these people. The majority of them seem to be from out of town. We don't have an obligation to give them homes. And you just say no, and you keep chasing these people off. Maybe it's going to, take months or a year or 2 years. Just every day you go out there, it's like, you, back up, go.
Yeah, they got to find a new place to do this.
As it's 6 in the morning, they've got no right to be there. And it's 6 a.m. every day, so every day the city the county ought to have a huge force that says, time to go, buddy. And eventually they'll get tired of it, and they'll go to some other city, which are run by idiots and staff, and let them deal with the problem.
This is what other communities do. They don't tolerate it. They move people on, and then eventually they find their way to a place that doesn't move them on. And that's a lot of neighborhoods in L.A. because of the government we have there. You talked about places like Culver City, Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
A lot of cities in the towns in the South Bay. You might find 1 or 2 homeless people, but you don't find these big encampments. You don't find public space overridden with this crowd.
The Bonnie Garcetti crowd chose to make L.A. like this. They worked to make L.A. like this. This is what they wanted. They created this because the other cities don't have it. And it's not hard to stop. It's not hard to get rid of.
All right, we got more coming up.
John and Ken, Kfi, Devil Marquez.
A person has been taken into custody following an officer involved shooting in East LA. It's not clear if anyone was hit. An area around Cesar Chavez Avenue and Townsend Avenue has been closed off. Police have shot and killed a man in the parking lot of the school district office in Buena Park. The news is brought to you by Sunlux. Pfizer has begun a clinical trial of its COVID-19 pill. More than 1,000 adults who have been diagnosed with COVID but not serious or needing a hospital will be part of the study. Half of them will get the pill designed to stop viruses from replicating, plus a drug used to treat HIV. The drug maker Merck is in the last phase of analyzing its own antiviral pill for use against COVID-19. Multiple intersections in Irvine will soon be able to connect to smart cars to improve traffic flow and safety. UC Irvine engineer Professor Scott Samuelson says 25 next-generation sensors will be put at intersections as part of a 3-year study.
And distinguish between vehicles and buses and trucks, as well as distinguish pedestrians, bicyclists, and those on motorcycles.
He says the sensors eventually will be able to change the duration of traffic lights and warn connected cars in real time.
Estamos aquí en el hospital, White Memorial.
Boxer Oscar De La Hoya is in the hospital being treated for COVID-19. He posted a video of himself on Twitter from his hospital bed. He says in Spanish that he got the virus even though he is fully vaccinated. He says he's having a hard time breathing and that he is in a lot of pain. De La Hoya was supposed to fight a former UFC fighter next weekend at Staples Center. A group representing doctors in Texas says the new abortion law criminalizes the practice of medicine and interferes with the patient-physician relationship.
The relationship that a patient has with their physician, what goes on in that patient's room,
is a sacred relationship.
Texas Medical Association Dr. Linda Villarreal says the law will normalize interference in medicine. The law bans abortions when a fetal heartbeat is detected.